Happy Monday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from the one, the only Studio K, presented by Circle K. Head to any Circle K Arizona location where you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster.
Polar Pop
for just 79 cents now through September 3rd. Guys, I'm Anthony Totri.
You're my little Polar Pop.
As I'm your little Polar Pop. Yeah. We're going to stop right there. I'm
going to stop right there and give you a high five.
I'll give you a high five for that one right there. So I'm Polar Pop, I guess, his little Polar Pop. Now, on second thought, I don't like that at all. That's Jay Dieffenbach. That right there, that is the blind mouse, Erik Ruby himself.
Also known as Erik Rubis.
Senor Rubis.
Yeah, we're all wearing black because we are we're laying to rest the Polar Pop nickname that I gave Totri.
Yes.
Little Polar Pop has been laid to rest, so we're going to his funeral.
Am I allowed to lay any nicknames to rest, or is that
no?
No. Okay.
No. At some point.
Do I get a choice?
I have a nickname for you. The man of many nicknames.
That's true. Actually, I don't mind that one.
We got DJ Danielle behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. House of Heat Sports is here. Good afternoon to you, House of Heat Sports. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast.
I'm gonna start wearing my hats like this. Good afternoon.
Why does the accent come with it?
Because it looks very like foreign touristy.
Is that what you expect to see when you're going to Europe here in a couple weeks?
Yes. Yeah. Oh well. Or also looks like I'm gonna catch them all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your starter?
Piplup.
Okay. Love that for you. What about you?
I mean, depends on which generation.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't depend.
You can pick whatever generation.
Oh wow.
What's your starter?
Oh, what's the
here we go.
The monkey one. The monkey one.
I know what you're talking about.
Dude, I love Pokemon, but I'm blanking right now. Yeah. Or man, why am I Torchic? I don't know. Turned into a Blaziken? Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay.
You're just a.
Okay.
Are you kidding? I'm a fire type kind of guy.
Are you a fire? You give me fire type vibes.
I'm a fire type.
You give me
guy.
big fire type
My
vibes.
starter Pokemon, Espeon and Embryon. If you know, you know.
Okay. Are those the Eevee?
Yeah, those are Eevee evolutions, but those are the starting Pokemon in Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, okay.
Which is the greatest Pokemon game of all time.
Look at you, mumble.
Hey, everybody.
Love that. Squirtle Squad from PHNX Sports. We got Ryan in the chat. What's good, guys? It's been a minute. My bad. All good. Buckle up. We got a lot to get into today. We're going to be talking some ASU and Big 12 basketball. But first, we're going to dive right into ACC Media Day because Jim Phillips, who doesn't sound like a real person.
Yeah, he created the Phillips head.
The screwdriver?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that for that guy. He runs the ACC now, if you didn't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Big jump in careers for that guy. Actually, it might be a downgrade. It might be a downgrade to go from the Phillips head screwdriver to running the ACC.
I don't know what you're like.
Where we're going from here.
No, I don't know what you do if you like. Is he a inventor, or is he just like
or the
figurehead,
or like are there more things to do after you've invented the screwdriver? Like, do you have to maintain the patent? Do you have to like?
Yeah, that's a good question. We should ask.
I don't think it's a downgrade.
We should get Jim on the
guys.
On the show
we're just joking. He didn't actually create the Phillips.
We're just joshing.
What?
We're just joshing.
Yeah.
We're just jimming.
Oh man,
we're just jimming around.
We're just jimming around, guys. So the reason we are going to be talking a little bit about Jim Phillips and the ACC is because over the last couple of weeks, we've been obviously talking about Clemson and Florida State and the situation that they have going on legally, their legal battles, trying to get out of the ACC. But Pete Thamel said some interesting things this morning, along with ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. So before we get too deep into the weeds as to FSU and Clemson maybe joining the Big 12 in years to come, let's go ahead, kick things off with what Jim Phillips had to say at ACC Media Day this morning.
There are limits to what I can say, but I can state that we will fight to protect the ACC and our members for as long as it takes. We are confident in this league and that it will remain a premier conference in college athletics for the long-term future. These disputes continue to be extremely damaging, disruptive, and incredibly harmful to the league. as well as overshadowing our student athletes and the incredible successes taking place on the field and within the conference. People feel passionate about athletics, and they feel particularly passionate about college athletics at their respective schools. This passion is what makes college athletics so special, but this passion can also lead to personal attacks. John Swofford is a decent and honorable man and is widely respected in our industry. He led this conference with a steady hand for over 2 decades and did so through consensus and compromise. The fact is that every member of this conference willingly signed the grant of rights and unanimously, and quite frankly, eagerly agreed to our current television contract and the launch of the ACC network. The ACC, our collective membership and conference office, deserves better. The support for our student athletes, coaches, and programs is extraordinary, and that will continue despite these disruptions. We intend to continue to fight every day for the ACC and its members, and to do so in a way that I hope makes our membership proud. Where there are disagreements or disputes, I intend to continue to deal with them in a respectful and honorable fashion. The ACC deserves nothing less. The ACC will remain a healthy and vibrant conference that competes at the highest level.
So this is really the first time that we've seen the ACC and Commissioner Jim Phillips kind of go on the offensive here over the last few weeks. It's been all FSU, Clemson trying to get out. But again, the start of ACC Media Day, you have Jim Phillips kind of addressing the situation, which first and foremost, I was a little bit surprised that he opted to kind of put it all out there as opposed to saying it's an ongoing legal thing. Like we're going to
like 2 minutes of it as well.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like a 30-second statement.
Really diving into it. And then that led to Pete Thamel's tweet this morning saying, quote, have been told by multiple sources that there's no expectation for Florida State or Clemson to notify the ACC they intend to leave by the August 15th deadline to depart after the upcoming year. That is the deadline to declare intentions to exit for the 2025-26 year.
So that means nothing. There's
all of this.
In no world did I expect. No. In no world did I expect Clemson and Florida State to be in the Big 12 in 2025.
Yeah.
Like now 2026, 27. That is when I actually do expect them to be jumping ship. I mean, everybody. We can state the obvious. Like this just sounded exactly like what Kliavkov was saying.
Yeah. Close your eyes and replace ACC with Pac-12. And
You know what's funny, Totri, is you say offensive, and while I do agree, like he does go on the defensive, that was the most defensive speech I've ever heard. Like it's we are not going to let this conference fail. Everything is okay. And while it may seem like you're protecting, the integrity of your conference and you're protecting the schools and trying to limit distractions, what it's really doing right now is kind of putting up red flags saying, okay, well, there's a reason why this is happening. And obviously we know the reason is all the chatter in the last couple of weeks, but there's some legs to them. Yeah,
it is strange, again, because being at that final Pac-12 Media Day a couple of years ago and then listening to this, you bring up, I mean, the comparison, it does sound exactly kind of what like George Kliavkov had to say. Now, the legal stuff is a little bit different. Like FSU and Clemson are, suing the ACC over this situation.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case with Kliavkov in the Pac-12, but we saw how that ended, and that kind of felt like it was maybe not out of nowhere. I think it was out of nowhere with the LA schools, but everything else kind of just felt like it started to crumble and snowball. Whereas this situation feels a little different in the sense that you've got already 2 of your biggest schools saying, hey, we don't really want to be here anymore.
Right. Yeah. And I think that this is one of those statements that you might look back on in 2 years and go, nah, well, you were wrong.
Whoops.
And it of course, this is what this guy is going to say at this time.
But it's the only thing you can say.
Right. You're not going to come out there and be like, yep, we're screwed. It's over. The ACC is dead. FSU and Clemson killed us. You're never going to say that. Hell, even the Pac-2 right now is coming out saying we're going to be stronger. We're going to figure this out. We're going to be okay. You're always going to want to portray some sort of strength. But at the end of the day, like, reality is going to hit you one way or the other. If I had to put my money on it, 5 years from now, I wouldn't think that Florida State and Clemson are in the ACC. No matter what is said at this current moment.
You said how many years from now?
5 years.
5 years from now.
5 years from now. I think having them join next year, like Shane said, that was always going to be a stretch. I think these things just don't happen that fast, especially because there's a lot of
USC and UCLA took a year.
Well, right. But especially because there's a lot of legal stuff going around around this one as well, which is I think that's going to muddy the waters a little bit more. Plus, you know, 2 conferences have basically said that they're not looking to add any schools at the time in the Big Ten and the SEC, which also might be like, okay, well, we're going to wait until maybe we have some more options. Yeah. So I would say probably 2-3 years is the earliest that you would see it. And that means that right now, nobody in the ACC is going to be like, you know what? Yeah, you guys are right. We're done. It's over. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting because I feel like we are still so early into the conference realignment like era that this is going to set some legal precedent moving forward. How the courts deal with this FSU and Clemson lawsuit, trying to get out of the contracts that, like Philip said, they signed twice willingly.
Everybody should we'll just end up getting sick of this and stop the legal troubles and then merge into one big conference. Everything's going to be okay.
It's your favorite. That's your favorite.
When is the mega conference going to happen?
The Pangea?
Yeah.
The Pangea is going to happen in 2029. 2029. And it's going to be awesome.
What's it going to look like? It's just everybody under one?
No, I think there'll be 6 divisions in Division I football.
The Pac-12, the Big 12, the SEC.
Exactly.
It's like cable. At the end of the day, you just come back to it.
Just moving back.
I bet it'll be like West, North, East, Southwest, Midwest, such things of that nature, you know, directions and regions and things that make sense.
There it is. I was waiting for us.
UCLA and Rutgers.
Oh my god.
It's going to be so good.
Regardless, this is just, it's weird because media days didn't used to have any of this talk, right? You'd sit there, you'd listen to the commissioner go on and on about the academics and you know, you've got smaller sports, what they're accomplishing and athletes across the board. And then you get into football, basketball, whatever. But it seems like every single media day since that final Pac-12 media day, there has been something going on. Even at the SEC media days a couple weeks ago, they were asking them about FSU and potentially adding more schools, and they were staying put. The Pac-12 media day was all about George Kliavkoff talking about how the conference is fine and nothing's going to happen, and we're going to revolutionize the TV deal or whatever. And Big 12 media day, Brett Yormark, we're still open for business. Like, now it's just it feels so strange to be like on this side of college football versus what it used to be, where I know that's their favorite part of college football was the olden days, the good old days.
No, don't make me out to be some get off your lawner. We're not out of it yet because traditions and all of that are still involved. But it's becoming more commercialized, and this is what it is. It's how life is. Aaron coming up with the new tagline for college football Pangea. College football Pangea. It just means everything.
I'm here for it. House of Heat Sports, it sucks because it feels like the ACC tried to do nothing when FSU went 13-0 and didn't go to the playoffs. They stayed silent.
No, what mean,
what can the ACC do there?
Do? Also,
I understand that, though. I understand it being of
like... The committee made the right decision. Like,
I agree with you. The committee did make the right decision. I'm interested to see, though, or I guess it would have been interesting to see how the situation would have occurred now if the ACC would have even put out a statement or anything saying that they thought that FSU belonged in the college football playoff, whatever, if that would have at all impacted the relationship. But Eric, we talked about it last week and listened to some sound and read some stuff that, I mean, quite frankly, it just seems like Florida State is kind of the problem child of the ACC.
Yeah, and you know, I understand from certain perspectives why the SEC and the Big Ten would look at Florida State and say, yeah, you did sign willingly twice to that, and now you're trying to get out of it, and we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to have those problems. But I think inherently conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten would not have those problems. You would sign on there and you would be happy to be there. Like Florida State would be happy to be in the SEC. Clemson would be happy to be in the SEC. The same way that right now, and obviously it's a little bit of different circumstances because you're leaving a conference that's declining in front of your own eyes in the Pac-12, but every team that left the Pac-12, they are now happy they're in their new conference, right? Even the ones who didn't make it to the Big 10 and the Big 12, they're still happy that they're not Washington State and Oregon State left behind trying to pick up the pieces.
Well, yeah, but now you're staring at you're staring at the same situation.
Well, right, but you at least have something for now.
Stanford's like, dude.
Stanford's like, I'm moving across the country for this?
Again?
Yeah.
I have to go play Virginia Tech for why?
Those would be, again, and I think I've said this before, those two schools, Stanford and Cal, I would be the most sad for.
Yeah.
Like if the ACC fumbled, like, because then it's just like, oh, well, here we go again. Like, who wants us?
Yeah.
Do we go back to the Pac-2?
Who want me?
Yeah.
100% no.
Like, what do you do if you're
Swipe up
Stanford and Cal at that point?
Who want me? Swipe up.
It's like just Tinder, but for schools and conference realignment.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that might be a good.
Yeah. It's a good graphic right there.
Great
Brett Yormark, just yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like,
damn
it's
it,
one
I'm
of
out
those
of
where you're
swipes.
like talking to your buddy and you're just like, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh.
Just give me a Cal. Give me a Stanford.
Oh, come on.
Come on, Totri.
Come on. I was about to ask what school is he doing that to, but that's just rude.
Which two schools am I saying no to?
Ooh, Rutgers. Ooh.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
no,
Vanderbilt.
Rutgers. I'm a huge Rutgers fan.
Yeah.
Go
Rutgers.
Rutgers.
I'm swiping.
Legalize Rutgers money line.
I'm swiping left on Vanderbilt, and I'm swiping left on.
Don't you dare do it.
Ooh.
Don't you dare do it.
This is tough.
Don't you dare do it.
Oh my god. Where are you guys swiping left? I've got.
I think
Vanderbilt's for sure.
Vanderbilt's a good one.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just near Georgia Tech's campus. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool campus.
You swiping right on it?
No.
Where are you swiping
Boston
left?
College.
Boston College is a good swipe left.
But they got the really cool
Nice university.
and really cool guy in the red bandana jerseys.
Yeah.
So,
About Wake Forest.
I'm a big Demon Deacon.
Yeah, the Demon
You-
Deacon.
And
It's a
also,
good name.
beautiful campus. Gorgeous campus. Yeah. I don't know.
Wake Forest is the most ACC team ever.
Yeah, well they're like
They can't leave.
they were stuck in the forest and
Never left.
Yep.
Yeah. They belong there. Even if that conference dies, it needs to be just Wake Forest and
Just-
Stanford.
Yeah.
They just need to play.
Wake Forest and
They
Stanford
just
is the
have to
last two
play
remaining teams.
Every single week, those teams have
It's
to play.
brutal. And it's home and away. So you just go
Gosh.
burning more
They just meet in the middle, play at a
Demon
neutral
Deacons
site.
versus the
emitting
Stanford
more
Cardinal.
like jet fuel than Taylor Swift.
Oh my gosh.
Conference
gosh.
realignment's the main reason behind global,
global warming.
because
There it is.
Stanford and
This
Cal have
is
to
your
travel.
fault, Larry Scott.
It goes back to Larry.
You're the reason why the atmosphere is burning.
Wow. Well, that's tough.
The 120 degree day in Vegas is Larry Scott's fault.
Anything else?
I'm
you
not
wanna
going to
get out there?
disagree.
No, that's all.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely swiping left on Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt, but
Yeah.
I am swiping 100% right on Desert Financial Credit Union, guys. They are the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University. And I'm swiping right because I can trust them. They look trustworthy. Eric's been using them for as long as the Rubis name has been alive.
Yeah.
For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. I don't know about you, but I could use some financial solutions that make my life better.
Yeah. Did you get you got the Xbox, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The $200 that they're just giving out at DFCU
You buy two
Goes a
versions
long-
of
goes a long
College
way.
Football 25.
goes a long way. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started.
And that's the great thing about Desert Financial is they're a local company. You know, they've been around, like you said, for more than 84 years. And, you know, you just love those companies that you can look at and say, you know what, you represent the state of Arizona well. And I would argue maybe there's no other company out there that represents the state of Arizona, State 48, like Four Peaks. Our friends over at Four Peaks, they are an institution here in the Valley because they just have absolutely fantastic beer. Me personally, I'm a big Wow Wheat guy. Anywhere that I go, I'm like, get the Wow Wheat? You got the Wow Wheat? You got the Wow Wheat? I know you like the peach ale.
Oh, yeah.
What are you,
Come
Shane?
on, dude. I've said it every show.
You're hazy?
Hazy IPA?
You're my real friend.
Yeah.
I got you.
Hazy IPA.
New nickname for Eric. Non-real friend of Shane Ruby.
Wow.
Add it to the list.
Shane Ruby, huh?
What?
Not
You said
non-real.
non-real
Eric,
friend
not
of
real
Shane
friend of
Ruby.
Shane Ruby.
Oh, there's a comma
Okay.
in there?
See, now I understand.
There's a
it.
comma?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was just grammatical. That's not had nothing to do with
No, that's not-
understanding.
is there a comma in a middle name after a middle name?
Middle name. Yeah.
This guy.
Totri not understanding anything.
Man.
Totri.
Listen, maybe we can all just get together. We can work this all out over
Yeah.
some Four Peaks at the nice Four Peaks Brewery and Pub, which you can find out in Tempe. The chicken tendies. I know it's all that people talk about. Get those chicken tendies over there. They have fantastic selection. They also have the green tea ale out right now. I know that's Saul's favorite. And listen, if you want to find out Four Peaks, go to fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Plus, check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. But remember, you must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please enjoy responsibly.
I'm a little bit torn because
Where?
Sharon did something that's not that funny. Sharon did something that I respect, but also I find a little rude. She took away Isabella's gaming time to watch the show.
I love that.
And so I mean, I respect it, but
I feel for Isabella.
yeah. Isabella, are you a paladin? You seem like a paladin. She's playing Baldur's Gate. You guys played Baldur's Gate?
I don't play Baldur's
I would be
Gate.
playing Baldur's Gate if College Football 25 wasn't out right now.
Dude, that game took over my weekend.
It came out at the worst time for me.
Yeah,
Because
you're all over
I
the
was able to
place.
play it for a little bit, but I've been traveling and I'm about to go on the road for 3 weeks after this week, and I have such a busy week. So I'm going to try to fit some games in, but man, I just want to get on the field with Toledo again.
Be out there with the boys.
Those damn Rockets.
I respect that.
Jerwan Newton,
Heisman candidate.
90-yard house call.
I started a dynasty with my brother, and now every time I call him or he calls me, it's, so how you doing, coach? What's up, coach? It's great. It's absolutely phenomenal. What do you think?
Oh, can I talk about something real fast?
You can talk about something real fast.
So, SB Nation's own Kofi, I don't know if you guys follow him at all. He's been one of my favorite content creators in the sports media space for years. Him and John Boyce do an amazing job with Secret Base, and they do a lot of fun video game things. I quote tweeted it the day of the game's release, but he chose Arizona State as his dynasty team.
I did see that.
And not only did he choose Arizona State as his dynasty team, but he's also playing on Heisman mode, coach mode, where he doesn't play. So he just gets to call the plays. And
That's gross.
He's at risk of getting fired because of how inconsistent Sam Levitt has been.
Oh, man.
It is so fun to watch. So if you want to watch somebody play, that is one of the best series to watch, especially because he's playing with Arizona State. I'm in the chat occasionally being like, did you know that Cam Scattaboo, blah, 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 or like correcting pronunciations, and this guy's not a real player and whatnot. But it's a very fun
Who's
series
the quarterback they have in? McDougald?
Yeah, Taylor
It's Jeff
McDougald.
Sims.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Sims, but not Jeff Sims because he's a scrambler, but he's white and he's 6 feet tall, and he's from where Jeff Sims isn't from. I think he's from Nebraska, funny enough. He's from Omaha.
And his last name is McDougald.
Taylor McDougald.
Wow.
Not McDougal.
That's a great last name.
McDougald.
Malik McClain, pretty damn good.
Malik
in that game.
McClain is
Jake Smith is really good at
Jake
that
Smith's a
game, too.
freak. Yeah, it's a good time.
I feel like Jordan Tyson is not. He's not in the like starting lineup in that game. Like if you're playing as Arizona State, he's like at the bottom of the depth chart because I think he's like a 76 or something. He will be wide receiver 1 by week 5.
I would hope so. I would really hope so.
I'd love it if Malik McClain played in real life, like he plays in the game. Though
That'd
that'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Be really. They definitely saw Penn State transfer, and they're like,
Mhm.
we're gonna
Juice
Yeah.
this guy up.
Yeah, this guy's gonna be wide receiver 1.
I really hope the secondary gets shored up
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah.
because it is brutal.
Kamar, I mean, the safeties they're good, but the corners are.
Yeah, it's more so that like none of them are real. It's just
Yeah.
Keith Abney and a bunch of random people.
Yeah. Keith Abney. There is one other one. I don't know who they don't. Yeah. But I see the numbers. They have the right numbers, and I'm like, I want to be like, oh, Montana, and it's like some straight like
Yeah.
Smith or something. I'm like, who the fuck
First
are you,
name
buddy?
Wyoming.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Jon Rothstein, when he loads up the game? Who do you think he's playing with?
He doesn't play college football.
He doesn't play college football.
He eats, sleeps, and breathes college basketball. He's still playing NCAA basketball 10.
He has not
So-
watched a football game in years.
So gross,
Dude, I love that man. He's one of my
Oh,
favorite
gosh.
people in the world.
Well, Jon Rothstein, he dropped his preseason Big 12 basketball rankings. What do you guys have you seen it? Did you click on it? So you obviously know. So Arizona State at number 10, right?
Yep,
yeah, number 10 out of the 16 schools.
Did you click on it?
In the big I did, but it has one right here next to it, so I was just double checking here. Were you guys surprised at all at 10, or do you feel like 10 is the right spot for the Sun Devils?
That's usually where a lot of people have them in that area.
Yeah,
it's usually between 9 and 11.
Yeah.
It's a solid list. I was a little surprised to see West Virginia so low, but there's just so many good teams in this conference that it's hard to choose, and you don't really know if Tucker DeVries is going to be very good at the Big 12. What do you have Ohio State? He had Ohio State like 4, right? Can you read his top 5 real fast?
Yeah, he had Kansas 1, Houston 2, Baylor 3, Iowa State 4.
Yeah, I think what's funny? I'm going to try to find our graphics of our preseason power rankings. We're very similar. I'm the only person with the same starting lineup as him.
We'll get into the starting lineup. I want to see, now that you mentioned, if I can find the...
He had Arizona at 5, Cincinnati at 6, Texas Tech at 7, Kansas State at 8, BYU at 9, Arizona State at 10, UCF 11, TCU 12, Colorado 13, Utah 14, West Virginia 15, and Oklahoma State coming in last.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I can't find it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it for now.
Somewhere in the woods. I'm cool with 10. As far as the starting lineup that he projects, he's got Alston Mason, Adam Miller, Joson Sannon, BJ Freeman, and then Jaden Quains starting at the 5. First thing when I saw this was, we're playing 4 guards. We're running with 4 guards.
Freeman's a 4.
Yeah, but how big is he?
He's
I feel like
6'8".
We've done this before.
He's a 4.
We did this when I did my starting lineup. You're like, you guys, you have a small lineup. I'm like, well, Bobby Hurley's lineups did this. And then I went back and tracked who their starters were 2 years ago, and they ran an even smaller lineup than the one that I projected. We did this before already.
He could play 4.
He was a primary ball handler at Milwaukee. He's not going to have to be this year. But he's built like a 3 or 4. He's built like a slashing 3 that can play at the 4. So.
And you're cool with this lineup?
This is my projected lineup. Of course I am. This is what I think it's going to be.
This is the Dieffenbach lineup.
This is the Dieffenbach lineup.
What do you think, Eric?
I mean, I'm okay with it.
He doesn't want Adam Miller on the team. Remember?
Yeah. You know me. Yeah, you know me. Listen, I'm not going to rehash that. I think this is a great starting lineup. I would be happy with this starting lineup. I do think we're going to see multiple starting lineups, I think, throughout the season, just as they try to figure stuff out, because there's so much talent off the bench that could make a run for a starting lineup. And I think that the only person based off of, history and time with the program that would probably be guaranteed a starting spot is Adam Miller. When I gave my starting lineups, I put him in a Manu Ginobili type role, which is not disrespectful. I would like to say Manu Ginobili was like the 3rd or 4th best player on the team who's coming off the bench. He was a massive reason why they won. I think it's a compliment to say Adam Miller can fit into that role. That's just me, but I'm good
to spin things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you my side of the argument. What do you want from me? You want me to just be like, I'm stupid and dumb?
No.
I'm a big dumb. I'm not going to say that because it's going to get clipped, but like, I'm happy with the starting lineup. I think that this is a reasonable starting lineup for game 1.
I will say, if this is the starting lineup that they were all out with, then the reason I'm comfortable with it is because this is the best 5 players that Arizona State has on the basketball team. I can see other potential lineups where you are trying to get it to be like a better fit on the court. But if you're trying to go out there with your best 5, I think this is the best 5 that Arizona State
Can I see them real fast?
Has going right now.
I want to see how close I was to it. You guys keep talking.
But yeah, I think this is a fine starting lineup. Again, you've got Austin Nunez coming off the bench. You've got a replacement big in Jon Phillips. Interested to see what Amir Ali and Bryson Long do this season.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, we've talked at length about the roster in general.
Who out of that the non-starting lineup do you think has the best chance to become a starter, and who would they replace?
Become a starter?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Austin Nunez. I'm gonna say Austin Nunez at point guard. Just because
I have no idea what he looks like. We just don't know. But
he's got that history. He's got the history,
Bobby. And he's probably at the most shallow position group, like
a true point.
Yeah. It's either him or Bashir, I think.
Was Austin
I think
a true
Bashir's
point
in there.
Austin Nunez?
No. Alston.
Austin Mason. He was a primary ball handler.
But he was taking lots of shots.
He was more of a scoring.
He definitely was good at passing, but he was taking like logo threes.
Yeah, here's what Bobby said though. And he said this to us. He said this in the Rothstein interview he did on Jon Rothstein's podcast. Check that out. It's good. The biggest thing they needed to address was scoring. His best teams have been the ones that score a shit ton because they always play defense well. Like Bobby gets them to play defense well. So having a surplus of scorers is a really good thing on Bobby Hurley teams, and that's what they had this year. I mean, you read the starting lineup of these 5 guys, and they're all scoring first.
Yeah. You could see. I mean, any one of
Quaintance
them.
We don't know, but all of them, all the other 4 for sure, are all score first players.
Yeah, I think 4 of the 5 of those guys. In theory, if Sandin does what he does at the high school level, even like slightly similar at the college level,
he has been tearing.
Then you're talking about any one of those guys potentially going for 20 a night.
Yeah. I mean, we gave a while ago. I think it was like maybe 2 months ago now. We did like projections of numbers for the starting lineup, and everybody kind of averaged out around 12 to 15 points per game. And we talked about Sandin, and we were like, out of everybody, he has the highest variance, where if it's not going right for him with all these other scorers, maybe he dips under double digits. Yeah. But if it's all firing right and there's a ton of space for him to operate in and they're finding him the ball, he could get close to 20 points per game. Yeah. That's just the type of talent that he has. BJ Freeman was a guy who averaged, 21 points per game in Milwaukee?
He was the leading scorer in the conference. I don't know if it was exactly 21. Yeah, it was 21.1.
I think it was 21 points per game. Obviously, Alston Mason, I think, put about 18 points per game off some good shooting numbers.
Some of these numbers are going to go down, though.
No, but 100%.
Bold take.
100%. But like the thing is, it's all possible. Now, which one of these?
So insane. Yeah, everyone's averaging 20 points a game. That's just what happens.
We're just putting up 120 a night.
We put up 190 points a night.
That's how you win. That's why you win basketball games in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to, but I think that you look at everybody that they brought in, right? There's going to be some who struggle with the jump in talent, whether it is an Alston Mason, a BJ Freeman, or a Bashir Jihad and jumping up to a bigger conference, or if it's a Sandin and Acquaintance going from high school to college.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to just immediately come over and just be the same type of production as before, but you have so many options. And
you do.
The most important thing is they have so many different people who can score, and a lot of them score in different ways.
Well, yeah, not only do you not need that, you don't want that. You don't want them all to continue what their role was. They're all going to have to fit in new roles. And the good thing about going into the Big 12 is everybody is taking a jump up. Everybody collectively is going up a level. Like whether it be you're taking 3 steps up or a half step up, everyone is taking that next step to a more competitive schedule in conference. I mean, this is the hardest schedule Hurley's ever had. This is the hardest schedule and maybe in Arizona State history. Like that is how good this schedule is with the good non-con and obviously the Big 12. You're playing some real ass teams. Going back to the original question though, Bashir, I think is the one that, we could see starting at that 4 position at some point. But I think the guy with the highest ceiling coming off the bench is Amir Ali. The way that he can score is so unique to him with his body type, with his athleticism, the way he shoots the ball, but also the way he slashes. He's a very athletic 3 that still is growing into his size, 6'8", going to be a true freshman. He's a guy that I could see really bursting on the scene. And if that is one of your top producers off the bench, this team can be
another freshman,
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he is the X factor that I think he can be on this team, then this is going to be a scary Arizona State team.
Mm-hmm.
If Amir Ali, again, you want to talk about somebody trying to fit into their role, if he's your 6th man, your first dude off the bench as a true freshman, and giving you valuable minutes at a 3 or 4 spot, then again, I think that's a position for Arizona State where Bobby Hurley is absolutely thriving at that point. And I am interested to see not just with Amir Ali, but Quaintance and Sandin, kind of where the struggles are, or at least how soon into the season, if at all, they get to the point where it's like, okay, we can settle in and these are the guys. Because I feel like even last year, you could turn on the tape and watch Arizona State basketball and you look at a Jemiah Neal, and there were games where it was like, it just doesn't kind of look comfy out there. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like he's in a rhythm, doesn't look like he's flowing. And I wonder how much of that was on Jemiah, how much of that was on the team, the chemistry, the coaching, whatever. Like you just want to see those guys get as comfortable as possible as fast as possible, especially before you hit conference play when you are going to be playing a Kansas and Arizona, a Houston and Iowa State, and you don't really have games where you can be. You don't have games where you could be like, okay, well, he's a little off, but it's Cal.
Isn't it insane that Iowa State is consensus like the 4th best team probably in this conference? And I'm not saying they're being disrespected, but they also were returning the most points like ever. Yeah. Like for a starting lineup, like nobody returns their starting 5 that scores that much.
Yeah,
it's so stupid.
They did it in football too. I think they returned the most starters on the football team too. Which
is just an Iowa State thing.
I mean, people want to be in Ames.
They love that water. They're like, hey guys, you play better because of the water.
It's the water. It's the vibes. It's the lack of cyclones there.
Yeah,
though that's their name.
They just love corn. Is what it is.
Glenn in the chat says, just hope players have gelled and settled into new roles because we only play with one ball. Need this team clicking by conference play because Big 12 is no joke and not friendly to teams still trying to figure it out. I think that's a valid concern when there are so many players trying to fit into a new role. But I also think it's great because, as we've talked about, all the benefits, everything, the different types of scoring, even passing as well with Alston Mason and with Austin Nunez as well. There's so many players that can help play off of each other that somebody like Jaden Quaintance who's trying to find his way, there's not going to be all the attention on Quaintance. There's not going to be all the attention on Sandin. There's not going to be all the attention on Miller. You just can't. So I feel like it's going to be easier for guys to settle into new roles because it's not like, hey, Amir Ali's coming in off the bench and he's their only option off the bench, so now we can focus all in on him. No, you're going to be coming in with Austin Nunez or Bashir Jihad or Sean Phillips, or if Bryson Long or Brandon Gardner are able to hit as well. You're talking about multiple different players on the court at the same time you have to worry about, and that opens up and makes it easier for other players to slot into whatever role they're trying to fit into.
Yeah, JJ is coming to the Shane side with that starting lineup. He's saying that he agrees with what I said. And he brings up the undersized thing. And I just don't think that Freeman is undersized. I mean,
I don't know what my starting lineup was.
You had Bashir starting instead.
BJ?
I think you were starting Brandon Gardner.
No, I didn't start Brandon.
And Bryson Long.
Brandon Gardner is such an interesting player on this roster.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star kid coming out of high school, didn't play at USC because of a foot injury. And now he's at Arizona State. You have no idea what you're going to get out of this kid.
No clue.
And nobody, I feel like, talks a lot about Sean Phillips anymore. But again, you saw what he is capable of.
And how excited Hurley is for him this year.
Yeah, so there is so many quote-unquote X factors on this team that could be the first man off the bench to really do something for this roster. And that could find themselves in the starting lineup, right? This is just what Jon Rothstein thinks. And also it's the Dieffenbach lineup. So we'll see. That's definitely what it's going to be called the rest of the year.
That's the starting lineup for the entire year. So
it's the Dieffenbach lineup.
It's the Dieffenbach lineup.
Yeah, the Bernie Bach lineup. I want to get into the freshmen a little bit more. Joson Sandin and Jaden Quaintance. Jon Rothstein has them listed as 2 of the 10 impact Big 12 freshmen. ASU along with BYU, I believe. ASU and BYU are the only 2 schools that have multiple freshmen on that 10.
BYU is such a strange team.
It is. It's just a strange place.
Kevin Young
in general. I forgot Kevin Young.
Yeah, dude.
Coaching
that
team. That's so weird. That is so damn weird that he's there. But again, I think this immediately is credit to Bobby Hurley in the recruiting, being able to go get 2 5-star kids, one that was previously committed to your rival, and again, got them slotted in to be starters, got them slotted in to be 2 of the most impactful freshmen, I think, not just in the Big 12, but in potentially the nation. Because if you're talking 2 impact guys in the Big 12, then it's the best conference.
It's also in the nation, right?
So, in reality, if those 2 are thriving in this conference, they're thriving on a national scale, which means Arizona State and Bobby Hurley are continuing, I think, a successful recruiting cycle.
But that's the expectation, is that they should be thriving on a national scale because of health.
But I think that's now that's the expectation. That wasn't the expectation always. Regardless of what fans wanted, people didn't expect that from ASU.
Well, I think it's the expectation for these 2 guys individually is what I'm saying, because they're 2 5-star freshmen.
I mean, you're in a list with potential top 5 lottery guys like VJ Edgecombe. That dude's legit.
Carter Bryant's pretty damn good.
Carter Bryant is really good. Mikey Williams had a rough path there, but he is a very high-level talent that UCF's taken kind of a chance on as well. Being on this list, being these types of players, it just kind of reinforces what we've said so many times in this offseason, where this is going to be a different ASU team because different expectations.
Yeah.
These are 2 of two of the highest, if not the highest, recruits in program history.
Yeah, Quaintance is
the highest, and Sandin one of the highest. Best recruiting classes, including Amir Ali is somebody who, he might not be the 10 impact Big 12 freshman that Rothstein put down there, but he is somebody that ASU will need to rely on in order to hit their peak potential this year. Amir Ali has to come in and be a killer.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're looking at 3 young guys, one of them who has to come back next year. Like this is a big stage for them. And they're surrounded by some veteran talent. Not all of them played in conferences like the Big 12, but have played college basketball at a high level in a lot of your transfers, plus Adam Miller, who's returning, and Sean Phillips. There is a recipe for success here.
Yeah.
And there's nothing guaranteed because you're taking lots of chances on guys, which is why I think 10, kind of to round it back up, 10 is an okay spot for ASU to be. But they have a potential if everything clicks right, which I know is very rare to say and doesn't always happen. But if Bobby can push all the right buttons, you could look at a team that is contending in the hardest conference in college basketball.
I will say, and we're going to continue talking about ASU hoops, but if you finish at 10, that's a problem. That's a failed season in my mind.
It's so hard because it depends on how the other teams around them play.
But you can't have the best team in Arizona State under Bobby Hurley, which is what everybody is saying, at least from a talent perspective. You can't have this influx of NIL money and finish at 10. You can't. That sets a bad standard, a bad precedent.
So what's the lowest? What's the lowest? 9,
I think the
8?
lowest. No, I think the lowest that this team can finish is probably 7. And be okay.
That's
I know that.
We're talking the top 5 is Arizona, Iowa State, Baylor, Houston, Kansas.
I 100% get that. But that's the expectation now, right? You can't sit here and say you've got the best team that you've ever had as a coach heading to a new conference with increased NIL, 2 5-stars, the best player in whatever conference BJ Freeman's coming from, returning your best scorer in Adam Miller. You can't do all that and then finish at 10. You can't finish in the bottom half of this conference.
I think that's unfair. If they had a year of this new influx of NIL before going into the Big 12, or if they're already in the Big 12, then I can understand that. But I think that's unfair going into a new conference year 1 with you're just starting that. I think that's wildly unfair. I think 10 is more than.
I think that's fair because this is what college sports is. You got to win now.
But I think there's context in it, right? Like if they back their way into 10 and it's inconsistent play and it doesn't look like they have it together, and one game they're winning by 15, next game they're getting blown out by 30, it's like, that's disappointing. But if they play hard every single night and the Big 12 is just an absolute powerhouse and they end up 10 or 9, that's not a lost season.
Bobby
it depends on how they get there.
Bobby would tell you straight up that you can fight in and out every single night, give it 100%, and if you lose, it doesn't fucking matter. So like you have to shoot higher than what you are currently at. You have to shoot higher than what you've been in the past. And nobody gives a fuck if you're playing in the hardest conference.
Who's in the way? Federico.
You're right.
Okay, you got to go through Federico.
I'll take care of Federico.
You
don't got to worry about that, okay? Look, I want to tell you a little bit about our friends over at Circle K. We get into some lovely debates and arguments and all things PHNX here in Studio K, which is, of course, sponsored and brought to you guys by Circle K. They are America's thirst shop, and they got a new free membership program called Inner Circle. It's going to help you save money every single day. Sign up and save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then every day after that, once you've signed up, you can save 3 cents per gallon as well. They're trying to help you save money, and when you walk into your local Arizona Circle K location, they're going to have a ton of different snacks, whether you are somebody that likes some sweet, spicy, salty, savory, it doesn't matter. They have it all. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Little Hulk Hogan action.
Are you going on a boat soon?
Maybe.
I'm gonna be hitting the beach.
I'm on a plane soon.
Where are you going on the beach?
I'm going to Ventura.
Yeah, we're all leaving at different points.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of vacation times.
Yeah.
For the next 3 weeks, I think we're all gone at least once.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be in Europe starting Saturday, and it's going to be warm over there. There are going to be
over
times...
the pond?
Over the pond, yep. There are going to be times when I need my sunglasses, and of course, those are going to be with our friends at Shady Rays. Guys, Shady Rays is the best when it comes to polarized sunglasses or anything of that nature. It could be polarized sunglasses, it could be blue light glasses, it could be ski goggles. They got everything over at Shady Rays, and they're an independent sunglasses company that offer a world-class product, and you don't have to take us. You don't have to take our word for it. You can take the 5-star ratings by over 300,000 people. Guys, get your Shady Rays today because exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the season. Head over to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over
300,000 people.
300,000 people.
It's a lot of people.
I think I'm going to get myself some pit vipers from Shady Rays.
They're not pit vipers.
They're not pit vipers?
Pit vipers are a brand.
What are they? What's
I don't know what the actual term is, but
because Damon has
it's
some
like it's like
Shady Rays.
Kleenex.
I want those. I want them, and I just want to wear them at all times.
Yeah.
You think Kenny will wear some?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna make that happen. Get to some comments here. Bees, the bar has to be set high. Need to make a statement in new territory. Imagine the recruiting boost Bobby would get by doing that.
You can set the bar high. Your hopes can be top 7. That can totally be your hope.
Yeah.
But saying 10 is a failure is ridiculous.
It seriously, it just depends on how they play. They could end up at 10, but this conference is just so damn good that it's separated by a game and a half.
Exactly.
Right? Like it.
But it doesn't matter.
But there's contact. They
totally
they could be 10 and be on the verge of being a tournament team.
They could be 10 and be a tournament team.
Tournament team. Like it all depends on the context. If they just are super inconsistent and they suck and they end up somehow backing their way into 10 and none of the players pan out the way they're supposed to.
But then who does that fall on?
I think that falls on a little bit of everybody. But again, you have to watch them play. You can't just say, if they end up here, it's a failure. Anything past 10,
though.
If it's anything past 10, if you're in the bottom 5 or 6 of the conference.
I just think the measurables are a little ridiculous because of how we've talked about this team for the past 3 months. We said if this team looks good with a brand new team again, then you're good. But if it doesn't look good and you're changing the roster again, you have a bunch of talent, then that's trouble. And good isn't a win and loss. Good is not this like litmus test where if it's red, then they're good. If it's bad, then if it's blue, then they're bad.
Okay, then can we say tournament good, not tournament bad?
No, that's exactly what I said. You can't say red is good, blue is bad. You have to look at what the team looks like and how they're performing because talent can only get you so far.
I get that. I understand that. But I'm saying if you are an Arizona State basketball fan and you're going into this season and you are consuming everything that we're talking about, everything that other media sources are talking about, you watch the games, you listen to what everybody's saying, and everybody's telling you that this is the best roster that Bobby Hurley has had on paper.
But
on the hardest schedule and the hardest conference.
Exactly. If you've been listening to everybody, you've been listening to us, you know that we've been saying this had to be what happened going into this year because you are going up against a juggernaut. You are going up against the hardest schedule you've ever had. Like that should temper your expectations. Just saying that. Me saying that though, I still expect this team to be in the top 8, but you never know how it's going to go because teams like TCU who Rothstein has at 12, like past ASU, I think could be a top 6 team. Like and teams like West Virginia who are 15th in a lot of preseason polls could be in the top 8 as well. Like you really just don't know how these teams are going to perform. The bottom line is this team needs to be cohesive. They need to look good before conference play, and if they don't, then there's a problem. Bar none. You can't put a white and black thing on this.
Yeah, 2 things can be true at the same time. It's a big year. They need to make a statement in the Big 12. They need to not back down. But also, how they play is a massive indicator of A, Bobby Hurley, the job that he's doing in gelling everybody together, and B, even the players themselves.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's all a Bobby issue.
No, but I'm just saying like.
But I get what you're saying about wins and losses.
Yeah, like wins and losses matter.
Because
rankings matter. Like that matters for sure. But it also matters how you get there and how you play.
And I agree. I think there is a little bit more nuance to it. Bees take crediting you, Shane, on that. But like, I think again, where I'm trying to come from is if I'm a fan and this is what I'm seeing, where does my excitement and hope come from the following season? If the result for this season is a 10th place finish and you miss the tournament when you had X, Y, and Z, yes, you had to play X, Y, and Z, but that's not getting any easier. Then where do I go from here? You know,
this is where I'll end this conversation. If you finish 10th and you're getting blown out by the top 5 teams in this conference, then there might not be a lot to get excited about because you just had one of the best recruiting classes in the country, and you just had a really good transfer class, and you still didn't stack up against the best of the best in the best conference in basketball. Yeah. But if you lose, 5 games to the top 5 teams in the country, and maybe you steal one of those, and the other ones are all competitive, and you're like, okay, we're competing in this conference, then there's no trouble at all. I don't care if you finish 12th in this conference. If you are competing night in and night out again, if you're going into Allen Fieldhouse, if you're going into Fog and you're losing by 2 points, or your shooting night, it's just not your shooting night, but you're still in the game, I'm totally fine with it because then I know, all all right, Bobby Hurley's basketball teams can compete in this conference.
And you also you saw him build you mentioned on the Rothstein podcast, NIL is 5 to 6 times better right now than it was this time a year ago, right? You are going to see him say, okay, you were given a very limited amount of time with resources. This is what you built. You had almost your entire roster leave. And yes, you brought in great freshman talent, great transfer talent, but it's all new faces. What can you do with some stability, with some time in the Big 12? And listen, if they end up 12th in the conference,
time though is what I'm saying.
But this is the consistency thing, because what has been the biggest gripe about these teams in the past? It's their lapses. It's their 2-week periods where you're just like, who the hell are these guys? It's your 50-point losses to USF. If that shit happens, it's over. Like then I'm with you, Totri.
Yeah, it's
different. But if you see consistency, you're fine. You're totally fine.
I think we just disagree.
You're shooting a plane on its way up. Like, it makes no sense. You're like, all right, things are trending up. You're going into a new conference and you're competing night in and night out, but you didn't reach this altitude in time. You're done. It's over. I'm canceling it. We're starting over. That doesn't make any sense.
But what I'm saying is you don't have the time for that.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't, because Bobby's not a first-year head coach.
You just joined a new conference.
I get that, but you're not a first-year head coach anymore. You've had time to do this. I think again, we're going to disagree on that. You just, in my mind, you have to make the tournament with this team, or I get it. You have to be competitive. You're going to take your blows from your top 10 teams like everybody else is. But at a certain point, you do have to show results. Otherwise, it's just, that's what it is.
Okay, now this is the actual last point I'm going to make on this. What were we just talking about before the influx of NIL money, though? This dude is not supported. They don't give a shit about DFA. Yeah. They don't give a shit about how much help he needs. They don't care about all of that. And so he took this into his own hands. As House of Heat Sports says, he built a mansion in 3 days. He did all of this by himself right now. And now he's getting support after this. So why would you say it's over now? Why would you say, like, this? It doesn't matter if they can't win.
I'm not saying it's over now. I'm saying
if you don't succeed this year, then it's over. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm not saying you need to win the conference, but you need to be better than 10th place. What good is the way up if you're still on the back half of the fucking conference?
Because the way up is part of how you get better. You don't just turn a program around in one season going into the best conference in basketball.
I love you so much.
It doesn't make any sense.
How's Heat saying this should be your whole episode tomorrow? I feel like we've got some bolts in the chamber still, but we got a pretty big thing going on tomorrow. That
we probably need to table the Bobby Hurley 10th place Big 12 conversation.
maybe we can ask Lawrence Guy tomorrow where he thinks they're going to end up in Big 12 basketball.
Yeah. If you guys follow us on X or Twitter, whatever it is, or you tuned into last Friday's episode, then you know that we do have Arizona State legend and a former Super Bowl champion, Lawrence Guy, joining the show tomorrow. Sick. Be here at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. It is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking all things ASU, Big 12, Super Bowl run, and so much more with Lawrence Guy. So definitely be there. Subscribe to PHNX YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video. Drop a 5-star review if you haven't already, wherever you get your podcast. Also, head over to gophnx.com today. Click the little Die Hard tab. It's going to tell you everything that you unlock when you become a PHNX diehard, including access to the diehard Discord, exclusive diehard only content. You're going to get discounts on merch, events, and so much more. It definitely is worth it. Again, go PHNX.com, the little diehard tab. Gents, anything else before we get out of here?
Don't shoot a plane on its way up.
There's nuance in everything.
Shoot planes.
Let's let it fly.
Yeah, just let it fly, let it rip. Do the thing. What'd you say, Eric?
There's nuance in everything.
Well, not everything.
Some things are black and white.
Some things.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's nuance in most things. There's nuance to how much nuance is around. Okay, that's enough.
All right, Captain Nuance.
Put it on a chocolate bar.
Add it to the list.
Guys, if you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the Blind Mouse at Erik Ruby. That is Eric with a K. You can follow DJ Danielle at Abica Danielle across social media. You can follow Bernie Bach at Shane Deef.
Giving things time as always.
We will see you guys with Lawrence Guy Tuesday, 1:30.
We'll see you guys.
Ooh, there you go. In the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.